So it's game night, and tonight you have one of the most fun and interesting missions you have ever made for your current campaign. You have the NPCs, the monsters, the dungeon, the mission, the story, everything mapped out and ready to go. So your players are in a tavern and they're getting debriefed for this mission for the night. And as they're getting the information, one of your players gets an idea and talks amongst his playgroup. And everybody wants to go with that idea, and you were not ready for this. We're going to talk about what to do on this week's episode. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Crafty Halfling. And before we get started, I just want to say thank you to everybody who watched my video last week on how to make terrain boards for D&D traveling. It got me almost my first 20 subscribers, and it got, I think, a little over 200 views, and that is great. Thank you so much everybody for watching, and I couldn't be more appreciative of the support that I'm getting already from just starting this channel. But anyways, let's get started on this week's topic, and what we're talking about today is going to be improving in D&D as a DM. If you are a DM running a campaign, whether it's a homebrew or it's a module, you need to get good at improvisation. Improvisation is one of the key factors to DMing. Yes, in a module campaign, you have your general story, you follow the story, and it's pretty all written out for you what to do and how to do it. But this still doesn't mean that you want to add in your own twist or your players aren't going to do things unexpected. You want to give them that freedom to do what they want to do. And this goes tenfold when you are doing a homebrew campaign. A homebrew campaign is mainly used to have a sandbox campaign to give characters the freedom of what they want to do and how they want to do it. If you're running a sandbox campaign, not only do you want to tell the story you have made as a DM, you also want to let your players tell the story in their own way. And that's the entire point of running a sandbox, is for you to have fun with your story and them to help tell it for you. If you follow me on Instagram and Twitter, you know that my characters are currently in a homebrew campaign that I've made in a land called Dareth. Dareth is a peaceful country, or so thought, that is just now recovering from a war, and a lot of the characters are somehow related to that in the past, whether it was their families that fought in the war or them themselves. How they ended up in their starter town is up to them, and where they went from there was also up to them. Last week on our session, I had this perfect mission set out for them. I had everything planned out, mapped out, ready to go. They're currently in a town called Dawnhelm, which is run over by a Thieves Guild, and this mission was to help overrun the Thieves Guild. They encountered a wizard in the town who had his staff stolen by some thieves, and it was up to them to get the staff back to have Melvin use his magic to throw over the Thieves Guild. Upon giving them the mission details through an inside thief that used to be part of the guild, they thought to themselves, hey, I have a better idea. If we're going to steal this staff, we should probably make a replica staff to replace it. And I say, yeah, that's probably a good idea. I didn't think you guys were actually going to do that. You know, usually you just run in and just kill everything, run out, get what you need, turn it in, and you're happy. Which is fine. They're having fun doing that. I'm having fun running it. That's okay. So the players are asking around in the tavern, where can they get a blue shiny orb. The blue shiny orb is on top of the staff, which I described last minute because I didn't have a staff drawn up, so I quickly drew one up with a blue orb on top, and that was one of the key defining details of the staff. So they're asking around. Nobody in town really has an idea where to get one of these or where to buy one of any sorts. But me, off the top of my head, I put a dwarven lady named Jasmine in the tavern with them who overhears their conversation. And she says, hey, I am from Scale Lake. Scale Lake is to the southwest of town, and it is known to have a bunch of treasures in the bottom of the lake from ships that used to come in and were sunken there. If you come there, I'm sure you can probably find something you could use. And the players say, great, all right, we'll leave in the morning. So the players go to bed, they wake up, they find Jasmine, and they take off to Scale Lake. So now that this is where the improvisation comes in, and this is where random encounters really help. With my travel boards, I set up some, some terrain for them to travel, and I roll some random encounters on their way to the settlements by Scale Lake. And during these encounters, gives me time to plan what I want to do last minute without them knowing that I have no idea what I'm even doing right now because I had nothing planned. But this works fine. This is why I recommend using the travel boards, because it really gives you time if you need to improvise. So on the way to the Scale Lake settlements, they have some random encounters, which gives me time to figure out what I want to do when they get to these settlements. And I think to myself, this is a good opportunity for me to really incorporate some of the main story villains that they have only very slightly encountered so far in my homebrew campaign. they arrive to these settlements and they see that it is being attacked by these villains who are trying to kidnap some of the townspeople. And needless to say, the heroes jump in, they save the town, they kill the villains, and the town is grateful for what they did, and in return they get free stays at the inn and tavern, and they offer to help them get pretty much whatever they need from the town. So since the villagers are willing to help them do whatever they need to do, my group then asks them where they can get some sort of blue shiny glass orb. And one of my smart players goes, hey, is there anybody here that could probably make one for us rather than us encountering this lake monster which we might get killed by, because they had a pretty tough battle against these villains. They don't want to lose their lives over a monster and a orb in the lake. And one of the people in town comes up and says, yeah, I'm a glassmith. I can make a glass orb for you guys easy. Give me the night, come back in the morning, and I'll have it ready for you. Players say, great, no problem. We're going to chill in town for the night, make some coin, figure out what we want to do, and game plan how we are going to save Dawnhelm. But then the players still want to encounter this lake monster because they heard there's a lot of treasure at the bottom of this lake and they are really interested in doing this. So I say, okay, what are you going to do? They go to the lake and they fancy up some, some grappling hooks and fishing nets with some bait, heavy bait on a line, start throwing it out and start reeling in. And they do that for a couple hours until I finally roll, and the monster actually does, because I rolled very high percent on the die, latches on. They encounter this monster, and this is where probably the most fun part of this improvisation comes in, is you have to understand, I know my play group, and we have known each other since high school, and we have the same sense of humor and interest and so forth, and this monster comes out of the water and doesn't attack, and instead it's a plesiosaurus, and it looks at them and goes, why are you attacking my lake and trying to reel me in? Are you trying to take my hoard of gold and treasures? And they say, no, we're sorry, as soon as they see this thing and think, yep, we're not going to fight that. There's no way that's happening. And then the monster says to them, well, since you're not going to fight me and you're being honest, I will let you have entrance to my cavern below. But in order to do that, you have to pay me tree fitty. So my players had a good laugh because this is an obvious reference to South Park and the whole Trey Fitty Loch Ness Monster joke. But they willingly agree. Everybody pays them 350 gold, and I think, alright, well, time to bust out a dungeon that I have yet to use yet, that I wasn't expecting to use for this encounter. So I pull out a dungeon, which is a tavern under the lake, which the monster clears a path for them to go under, and he lets them have entrance in there to each obtain one magic item apiece. So I roll some magic items, they go inside of the tavern, or the dungeon, and they look for these magic set items. Now this is one of my more trap-filled dungeons that I have, because I have a book full of a bunch of random dungeons that I make at times just for situations like this. Improv. Have dungeons ready. Have material ready if you need to improv. So the players go into the dungeon / cave underground. They fight some skeletons that are down there. Nothing too challenging for them because they just previously fought a lot of really difficult villains. They got a little injured by some traps, but they did come out successful with some magic items. We are now currently at the end of this dungeon, and they plan on going back up to the village to get the orb and go back to Dawnhelm to now complete the mission that they were going to do previously. So this is a prime example on how to use improv to still tell the story you want to tell while your players still have fun they want to have in their own type of way. I could have from the beginning of the tavern said, no, you can't do that. You can't make a fake staff. That's not going to happen. But what fun would that be? That wouldn't give the players any kind of enjoyment. It wouldn't make them feel like they have any kind of freedom throughout the game. So this is why using improv is a great tool to pull out of your pocket as a DM. So as you're improving as a DM during a session, do not be afraid to let your players have fun. Give them freedom. Let them do what they want to do. Sometimes you need to change the way you want to tell things to cater to your players, and that's okay because you can still tell the story you want to tell. But the most important part, again, of being a DM is having your players have as much fun as they can while playing your game. You have worked very hard in this game. Your players have taken time out of their day and their lives to come play the story you have made. If they want to add in their own twist, let them. They are putting just as much time into this as you are. So if you're DMing your own campaign and it's a homebrew campaign that you have advertised to your friends as a sandbox, you need to learn how to improv. And the best thing I can say to do to practice this is just keep playing your games. And even in your spare time, get material ready that you may not even use right away. For example, like I said, I have a bunch of dungeons that I draw up in my spare time that I have ready at disposal in case I need to. I also have lists of random names that I need to have in case I need to come up with a quick NPC with races and everything else. Have some material ready, but don't limit yourselves to just the main storyline of your mission. I myself have not only DM'd a bunch of campaigns, I've also been a player in a lot of stories and campaigns as well, some of which were very, very good sandbox campaigns, and others of which we were really railroaded on one track. And sometimes that's okay if you're just looking to kind of follow a main storyline and just go murder, death, kill everything. But a lot of the times when people play D&D, they want to have that freedom. And nothing kills the vibe of playing D&D more than someone saying, no, you can't do that, for no reason at all. So if there's a couple things I hope you take from this video, it is to not be afraid to improv during a D&D campaign. You want your players to have as much fun as possible. You can still tell your story that you've worked so hard on. For example, my Country of Dareth, I have a really, really cool and fun and intricate main story going on, but I'm letting my players get there at their own free will and how they want to get there. And while they're doing that, events in the world are still happening. So even though they're choosing to do A, B is still happening. So regardless, your story is still evolving. And you can still tell it how you want to tell it. It's just sometimes your players are going to take some extra time to get there. And there's nothing wrong with that. So guys, thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you are a new DM or a DM looking for any kind of tip or tricks, I hope this really helped you in some sort of way, because adding improvisation to my campaigns has helped increase the amount of fun we have by 10, and you cannot go wrong with improving. So if you liked the video, please don't be afraid to click the like button down below, and make sure you subscribe. Because at my first 100 subscribers, I am giving away some of my homemade dungeon tiles to one of my first 100 subscribers, and I don't want anybody to miss out on that, because these are nice. I don't want to knock on my own product, but they're nice. I like them. We use them almost every campaign. A set of them can be yours if you subscribe when I get to my first 100 subscribers. Also, if you are a Magic the Gathering fan, my longtime friend Dante has his own Instagram page, Love by Zdrew, which I will post in a link down below. And he also has a Magic card shop online, and he has some of the best prices and deals that you can probably find on the market currently. And that is also going to have a link down below. Make sure you give him a follow, give him a shout out, tell him I sent you by. That's it for now. I hope you liked the video. I'm the Crafty Halfling, and I'll see you guys next time.